live in a world that often glorifies perfection. Most of the time, people confuse being your best with perfection. Especially nowadays with social media, the flawless image, the perfect body, the ideal life. The reality is that being perfected is an active process that is wrapped up into progress. Perfection itself is an ideal that is not attainable in the perfect realm. I am Coach Saul. Welcome to our Performance Edge Weekly Wisdom where Spirit drives performance. Today we'll be talking about progress versus perfection. First, I want to address the two major differences between progress and perfection. Second, we'll look at the mental hijack that perfection can place on you if you are not careful. Third, how you can leverage the true meaning behind the active process of being perfected. Ready? Let's dive in. Perfection is seen most of the time as a finish line, and it's an idea most of the time of how things should be. Especially nowadays, we see it in ads, commercial, movies, and social media. The perfect body, the ideal life. We see the medal gold at Olympics or those events or the business win. And that is what we celebrate as a culture. But it is a fallacy that the finish line is what is being glorified, because it's like a pressure cooker that leads to stress, anxiety, burnout. The real question is this a projection of an ideal, or is this really what we should strive for? Or is there something more valuable that be found in the journey itself? That's why it's important to understand that progress is about improvement and movement toward the goal. It's about taking steps, no matter how small, toward the goals. It's about celebrating the wins along the way, learning from mistakes, and growing as an individual. That leads us to a second point I want to make. I wanted to talk about the double-edged sword that perfection creates. Because perfection can hijack your mental performance and your self-esteem. How? Because it's a difference between understanding that perfection as a noun and a goal, it is a trap that leads to self-esteem gap. Why? Because you have an image of perfection that has been created for you by social conformity that you have adopted, or self-projection, and it is an ideal that you set yourself to pursue. If you are not careful, you might trap yourself into a self-esteem issue, because, for example, your standard of beauty might not necessarily fit your body type, and you might feel inadequate because the perfection model of beauty you have adopted as your standard will make you unhappy, unattainable, miserable your whole life. While on the opposite, if you understand that being perfected, hear me out, is an active process toward things you can improve on, you'll be able to take charge of the quality of your life. This is where you need to stop and ask yourself, am I using the noun perfection, or am I using the verb being perfected, which means progress? Watch yourself, because you can hijack yourself to a low self-esteem by pursuing perfection instead of pursuing progress. Because, hear me out, when you understand the difference between being perfected and perfection, which is an image that is driven by the three drivers of your experience, either social conformity, self-projection, or resources. And if you want to know more about the three drivers of your experience, feel free to look at some of my videos a year prior. Now I want to talk about the third part, which is my favorite, the spirit performance element of understanding the difference between progress versus perfection. Because the act of pursuing perfection is inherently you trying to express your divine creator gift, which is amazing. So if you look at nature, I'm hearing nature, it's always working to perfect itself, which in itself, nature is seeking balance and harmony. So the key here is to not confuse and to understand that it's a ceaseless principle, because the creative energy is perpetual and it's not static, which is perfection cannot be static. And in fact, when you look at harmonious systems, they are always evolving. That is why the same goes for our lives. We will not always be perfect. We will make mistakes, we will face challenges, and we will experience setbacks. But that is okay, it's part of human experience. What matters is that you keep moving forward, you keep learning, and you keep growing. So let's shift our focus from perfection to progress or being perfect. We gotta celebrate our small wins, learn from our mistakes, and embrace the journey. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about becoming better. And I can talk about this more, but I would love to respect your time here. And if you want to continue this conversation with me, please sign up to our brand new community, Performance Edge Wisdom Community. And the link is right there for you to sign up. And you will get access to more tips and relevant answers to your real problems. And if you have any issue you want me to address, you can you want me to talk about, you can submit them in the comments or request a specific video on www.quantumdo.com/video. Or if you want to be confidential and you need NDA, please send an email to support@thequantumdo.com. And if it served you today, please share, subscribe, and don't forget, failure is a necessary prerequisite to human excellence. Till next time, live your truth. Now, Coach Soul, out.